Hey guys, welcome to another informative episode of Comic Book University, and we're just reviewing episode 2 of season 4 of Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This one's called Meet the New Boss. We start off with some kid who's walking around and notices there's a ghost in his house. I wake up to that all the time. It's not really that big of a deal. Anyway, this ghost apparently used to live here, and the father comes out and he actually confronts the ghost and he winds up getting possessed. Now, the way this works is that when this ghost touches you, you look around and the people around you seem to appear as ghosts. They got the black eyes of death and looking like, the ring and stuff like that. So we're going to try and avoid being touched by the ghosts. So we start the episode out properly after that little introduction with Robbie Reyes, and this is who we all want to see. I don't know about you guys. This is who I want to see. I want to see Robbie Reyes coming down, kicking some booty. Hey guys, my Ghost Rider series is complete now, so you can actually check it on a playlist, and you can see 10 entire episodes of me talking about pretty much all of the Ghost Riders who have existed in the Marvel Universe proper, Earth 616. Anyway, Robbie's being spied on by Daisy. Stalker! So we switch over to Fitz and Simmons, who are in the lab trying to find some solid, concrete answer in the scientific realm as to why this ghost thing seems to be appearing all over the place. Mac is great. He's just like, yeah, maybe it's just a ghost. Honestly, I hope that this is going to be a running joke that they continue with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I read a couple articles online that that's what they were going to do in general. I really hope they are able to stretch this out and keep it fresh because it's really funny watching them trying to, hey, why is there a ghost? Well, scientifically, there shouldn't be. Well, it's fun. It makes me laugh. I laughed. So we finally get to see the new director, the new boss, and it's Jeffrey Mace. Now, guys, if you're not familiar with this, Jeffrey Solomon Mace, okay, is actually the Patriot. Now, he's a character who started off in Human Torch comics, number 4, in spring of 1941. This guy has been around for like 70 years worth of comics. Now, he died in the comics, Captain America 283. I think that was in 1983. And basically, this guy replaced Captain America. After Steve Rogers went on ice, there were several replacements for Captain America. Jeffrey was just one of them. And he's just a regular human in the comics. Here, not the case. Later on in the show, he admits that he's an Inhuman. He's got super enhanced strength, enough to be able to pick up Daisy with one hand and knock her out by smacking her against a brick wall. Actually, a pillar, whatever. And he's able to be hit by not just fists of Agent May, but she actually takes a weightlifting bar and cracks him with it a couple times. And, he turns his head a little bit, but no, he champs it out. Whew, tough cookie. Sorry, guys, I actually just looked it up because I wasn't too sure. Captain America 285 is when he died, and Steve Rogers was by his bed. He was his hero. So they give mention to it later in the episode also that Steve Rogers went rogue, and obviously referring to Captain America Civil War, the movie. And we find out that director Coulson actually stepped down from his position. So he said that we should have a fresh face in S.H.I.E.L.D. And the new director, Jeffrey Mace, he seems like a good guy. He really does. But, there's that little shade of he's not doing it the way that Coulson, now Agent Coulson, would have done things. Maybe they're trying to give you the back and forth and all that stuff, but I don't want to believe that they're going to make Jeffrey Mace into a bad guy here. I mean, at the end of the day, he's really just a guy, and he's trying to do the best he can. He's trying to make S.H.I.E.L.D. public again, and he's got to do that in a way that obviously has the public opinion on his side. And one of the ways he's got to do this is by capturing Agent May. He's cool. He doesn't want to stifle everybody necessarily. He's not trying to necessarily change everything. Case in point, when he found out that Mac and Coulson went after Daisy in the last episode, he didn't flip out. He was just like, oh, impressive. Can't argue. Can't argue. I don't think he's a bad guy. He just does things differently. I also want to make mention that when May and Coulson first went in to meet the director, Mace, Jeffrey Mace, there was this big dude there. I mean, he was a heavy. And May said, move. And he ignored her completely and just kind of nonchalantly leaned back. Director, they're here to see you now. And yeah, I really hope that's not going to be a one-time only instance where we get to see this guy. I want to see more of this guy. I want, not that I want him and May to actually have to fight each other. I want him to actually be a part of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I want him to be like an Inhuman also. And I would love to see him just, also want to see is just one power move where he just knocks somebody out, like an RKO out of nowhere, just something along those lines where, he does something cool and he gets that nod from May. That's all I want to see. Is that asking too much? Come on, guys. So the Ghost goes off in this power plant in Pasadena, and this is where everybody starts to realize that they've got to converge upon. Fitz and Mac actually get on a Quinjet or something to that effect and start flying in to go to this power plant. Now, while the Ghost, who we find out her name is Lucy, is there, she meets up with Hugo, another ghost she releases from a box. Several other ghosts are released also, at least 2 others, and some of them have some problems. One guy can't actually vocalize what he wants to say. It just comes out as, and he's getting really ticked, and I think if he just calms down, things will be better for him. Anyway, so one of them decides to stay behind and blow up the power plant, but in the interim, during their discussions, they bring up several issues. There's a guy who trapped them here, and they just keep referring to him as him. Now, I'm assuming they're going to be talking about Baron Mordo, but at the same time, maybe they're talking about Dormammu, or maybe it's just somebody else. Doctor Strange doesn't have too many human enemies. Most of them are cosmic, mystical entities from other dimensions and whatnot. Baron Mordo is one of the few. But I don't know that they're going to actually have Baron Mordo in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they're probably not going to settle this off camera. They aim to kill this him who trapped them. So I think it's going to be somebody else related. You know what? Maybe it's Brother Voodoo or something to that effect, because they're really pulling out a lot of stops. They got Ghost Rider, they got Jeffrey Mace. One of the other things that they mentioned was the Darkhold. And that brings me to something else, because the Darkhold is a book that Doctor Strange has come into contact with. He actually owned at one point. It mostly has to do with the creation of vampires. I'm not complaining about vampires in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. if that's where they plan on going with this. But they might just turn around into ghosts instead of vampires only. This is how you make ghosts. Who knows? But either way, if they are going to do ghosts, they could easily have Dracula as the him. Maybe it's Morbius, the living vampire, like Dr. Morbius. Who knows? But I'm interested. Just mentioning the Darkhold piqued my curiosity. I'm good to go. Several Agent Carter mentions in here, which made me a little giddy. I was happy to hear that. Finally, the big push that everybody is just adrenalized for in this show was the Robbie Reyes and Daisy interaction. Throughout the episode in chunks, she's meeting up and she's coming to see Robbie, and God, she's just like such a stalker. She's doing that typical thing where she's making sure that he knows that she knows all about his past and whatnot, and it's in front of the other people at his job, including his boss. And you don't want to ruin a good thing, so you have to deal with all the things I'm saying. And just, they're really making her into a Weisenheimer. I'm trying not to curse. YouTube doesn't like cursing on YouTube, so. But she's a real jokester. She's got jokes. She's talking a lot of trash, lying about her car being broken, her van. So Robbie says, "Oh, it's perfectly good now." So she quakes it with her vibratory powers, and now he's got to try and fix this thing. He's like, "Oh, for crying out loud, how do I just get rid of this girl? Oh, for crying out loud." Anyway, so At one point, just as the last guy's about to leave, the boss actually, she goes and mentions to him, because he's like, listen, you need to leave now. I'm getting sick and tired of you. This is the whole day you're pretty much ticking me off. I want you to go away. I don't have attachments and I don't have a problem with killing people who deserve it. And she brings up Gabe. Yeah, Robbie Reyes' little brother. Just dumb. Well, now he gets pissed off, and now that everybody's gone, he takes a tire iron and starts walking after her, lights it up with hellfire. She goes and quakes a car and knocks it over. What a butthead move. Like, really? The guy's working. This is his job. You came to mess with him. Unbelievable. Well, anyway, she gets her just deserves. Her arm was already hurting pretty bad, and now she goes and blocks a flaming muffler. It comes down on her and doesn't quite break, but it absolutely fractures. And yeah, she's feeling it. She goes down, and Robbie just boop, cold clocks her and knocks her unconscious. So he's trying to go through her stuff, trying to figure out, what are you doing? Why are you here? If you're a bad guy, then I'm going to kill you because I only kill people who deserve it, just like the watchdogs. And she does prove that she knows what she's doing, which is what I'd rather them stick with in the show. She says, okay, you went after those skinheads, okay, and they were tied up with the Asians. Now, does that usually happen in your neighborhood? So, he shows where he's just like, wow, yeah, I never thought of that. And that's the Agent Daisy that we need to see. So she's trying to talk some reason into him, and then at one point, he says that he's got some kind of connection with the Pasadena plant, and he goes there. She uses her quake powers and escapes, and she was probably hoping to save that. Anyway, she tries to follow him by jumping on his car. Yeah, hellfire. So she falls off. But she does eventually get there, and when she does, she's just in time to save Mac and Fitz. Well, she's able to try at least. The ghosts come in, and one of the ghosts, that ghost that stayed behind to blow the place up, locks Mac in this chamber. Maybe it's hyperbolic, not sure. Either way, he's going to get blowed up when the whole place goes nuclear because he's trying to melt the place down. And Fitz is about to be touched, and all of a sudden, it's cool because nobody can touch him. Mac's got this shotgun with a little axe on the front. Very cool. And he's shooting nothing. But Ghost Rider shows up and is actually able to catch onto the guy's hand. Pulls him back and shows his hellfire in his hand and lights him up or just pen and stare. Either one, don't care. It was awesome. It was beautiful. The guy just hellfired away. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, man. That's what I'm talking about. You done me good. You done me proud. So everybody goes their separate ways. Mac realizes that Yo-Yo has been supplying and informing Daisy, so he's disappointed. But Daisy's car isn't working anymore, her rusty brown van, and Robbie just shows up and says, hey, listen, I think that those ghosts have something to do with me. So she gets in the car and they drive off, and oh man, I gotta wait a whole week to find out the further progression of the story. Not cool, man. Not cool. Honestly, guys, on average, I don't like to watch shows episodically, but Game of Thrones and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D are two of the shows that I distinctly say, you know what, I'll just deal with it. I hate the idea of being tied down to week by week. I've got to schedule my day around, oh no, because I don't want my Tuesdays to be like, okay, well, I got to make sure that I finish all my stuff by this time so I can watch my show. I really hate doing that, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D is one of those very rare occasions where I'll say, you know what, I will. I'll watch the show episode per episode like that, as opposed to something like Netflix where you just binge watch everything, or just wait until the DVD comes out for other shows and then just binge watch those. I'm more of a binge watcher. I'd rather watch 2, 3, 5, if I've got the time, 5 episodes in a row, and just, I'll watch or stop when I choose to watch or stop, as opposed to, okay, let's watch a show. Okay, there's commercials now. No, not a fan. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D has always had me giddy to watch it. and it's one of those shows I can't wait to watch, and I can't wait until next week. Guys, this is Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.